What does this have to do with this? Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we're finally going to be talking about how to properly avoid an opponent's blade in fencing, concluding with the video's title, How Can You Multiply Your Feints? We'll begin with a quick recap of the parallelism between simple attacks, parries, and compound attacks to rock, paper, scissors, as well as their Super Smash Bros. Counterparts, which are normal attacks, shields, and grabs. Then we'll start to talk about the types of feints, how to use them, and the techniques you need to master them. We're really excited to help you identify which of the 3 types of feints you use, and hopefully give you a few tricks to spice up your fencing. Fencing and Super Smash Bros. Are similar in that they can be broken down into a rock, paper, scissors type of hit system. Any direct action where you're simply trying to hit your opponent is rock. Here are some examples from Smash and fencing. Some people are super fast and can rush down and hit an opponent. This involves entering distance suddenly. Here, we can see a similar action in Super Smash, as Fox rushes down his opponent. Now, others may prefer a more methodical, gradual, or even delayed approach. And you could see a similar action with Marth in Super Smash Bros. Now, the beauty of Smash and fencing is that there's so many different styles and types of hits out there, including standard moves that are universal to everyone, and special moves that are character specific. The same is true in fencing. Almost everyone is going to have their version of a lunge, but there are loads of differences in technique between countries, clubs, and individuals that make the game an exciting and infinite spectrum of options. The type of attack decision is going to be largely determined by your distance, spacing in Smash, and timing when your opponent is vulnerable. In previous videos, we've covered different coordinations for a lunge. The same is true for parries, as we can see here. As you might have guessed, paper in fencing is going to be our different type of punish, starting from a block. Now, as with direct actions, the type of parry you choose is going to be largely dependent on timing and distance. If you're trying to stay safe, you'll generally aim to use your feet to escape and with the front foot. In Smash, this is similar to regular shielding. If you're parrying to punish, then you interrupt early as you know exactly when and how you want to deal with the threat. This is similar to a parry in Smash, where the opponent is left vulnerable. Another really similar example is the famous Moment 37 from Street Fighter II, or the Daigo parry, where he expects the special and parries every individual hit. If you'd like to check out our video on the basics of defense, you can find it here. Finally, onto scissors. You can get around a block with a compound action such as a disengage or a coupe. In Super Smash Bros., the equivalent is going to be a grab or a command grab. Compound actions often lose to direct actions because the tip is displaced from the target during the disengage or pullback. Here's an example of this with Baldini and Kado in 2013. In this example, Baldini first shows Kado that he wants to parry. When Kado is now worried about the parry, he pulls in an attempt to get around it, but is met with a beautiful counterattack. Same is true in Super Smash, because grabs require either extremely close range or have a slow startup time, meaning they can be interrupted by normal attacks. Now, it's important to note that this is a gross oversimplification of things. Players of both fencing and Smash will notice that we've left out a ton of options. For example, in Smash, you might be wondering about dodging or rolling as a defensive option, while in fencing you may be wondering why we're not talking about counters, opposition, remises, and don't worry, all in due time. For now though, let us finish up the basics, and we'll cover some of those other options in future videos. Part 2, the anatomy of a disengage. Let's say you know your opponent is going to block. Let's say you also know how they're going to block. What would you do? Take a minute and think about it. You may want to attack, let them block, and then when they try and hit you, you block and hit them. This is called a counter parry post and is the most basic form of second intention. The trouble with this is, if your opponent is fast enough, it becomes a stalemate. Think if someone were to play rock, paper, scissors and both parties were to use paper. Another solution would be to disengage, or go around your opponent's blade. Note, a disengage is still a simple attack if it's performed in one tempo or movement. Generally though, a disengage will only be successful when it is used as a compound attack, which is composed of 2 equally important parts, the feint and the attack. The feint, or a second intention attack, an attack which has all the attributes of a real attack, either simple or compound, apart from the intention of hitting the opponent. Feint attacks aim to provoke a specific reaction. This is critical because in order to get your partner to parry, they first need to be scared of your initial attack. Otherwise, why would they block? As a quick note, oftentimes an unsuccessful disengage forgets this feint.
How am I supposed to
Provoke a specific reaction, scared of your initial attack.
Didn't you ever once think of the
Why would they block?
You call yourself a
Disengage attack,
Well, I ain't
hitting the opponent. Part 3. scissors. How to avoid a blade. As you can see here, there's really 3 ways to avoid a blade. There's a disengage, where you go under the blade. There's a coupe, where you go over the blade. Or there's a pull, which actually loses right of way, but can still be useful. Usually, for any of these to work, you need to start with a feint. Now, this is where things will get kind of weird. You've probably been taught how to feint as per the definition above. According to this definition, pretty much every second intention action begins with a feint. This means that there's really 9 different types of feint that we know of so far. These 9 different feint types can be grouped into 3 categories: true feint, invisible feint, and pseudo feint. We will teach you all about true feints in this video, since these are the most fundamental. If you'd like to hear about the other types, please donate to our Patreon, linked below, so we can afford to continue making these videos. Or you could book a lesson in person or online via sclass.ca. The first one is free, and at the very least, we think we could show you a new perspective. Or we could just have a great conversation about fencing. It's important to note that a really good feint disengage will be really small. The circle itself will be as tiny as possible, almost in a straight line. And you'll see that the bigger the circle, that'll directly correspond to how close you get to the target. So if you get really close, you're going to have to do a really big circle. If you can do it from far away, the circle will be tiny. This means that a really good feint disengage will be somewhat predetermined, and that you won't really be concerned with where their sword is so much as knowing where it will be when they're actually trying to parry. It's really important to note that during each of these mistakes, you'll see that the disengage actually becomes way bigger. That's due to a very fundamental principle. The closer you are to the opponent, or the closer your tip is rather, the bigger the circle will have to be, and if you're too close, it'll result in having to pull the blade back. If you maintain a far distance and you pick the correct disengage, you can keep it really small.
For basic parries such as 4 and 6, we recommend disengaging in a small V or U, as you only need this tiny movement to get around their weapon. Doing a full circle is typically a waste of emotion. However, a common mistake, as mentioned above, is moving the hand forward before the tip has lifted back up, threatening the target.
Now, a quick drill that you could do to practice the V or U maneuver is, in addition to just going under a blade, you could take it a step further and you can actually start using just 2 fingers, write your name with your tip in the air.
So as you can see, he's only using his fingers. Now his wrist is moving, but that's not the main thing moving the tip, okay? So he's gonna show you it wrong in a second.
Okay.
This is how a lot of people disengage.
Look, my thumb is no longer on the thing. And you see it especially with kids that go kind of like this. And they use the whole wrist to move the blade. Like that. When really, it should be a smooth motion. My elbow is only going forward. My fingers are doing all the work of actually moving the tip around. So my wrist, even though it kind of moves, it's just a result of me using my fingers. I'm just gonna write my name with just my fingers to really emphasize it. I'm doing like this, and you'll notice you can actually play. This is a good time to play with how you hold your blade, either like this or here, or I know some people even hold it all the way on this side. Okay, so let's say I want to try like this. Okay, I'm going to try and make my name as small as possible. The next level up, if you're really feeling it, you can do this while moving your hand forward or backward.
Hey guys, we really hope you enjoyed our video. Sorry this one has taken so long. As you can tell, it's a higher quality. Huge shout out to Dancing Tuna for doing this. He helped us edit it, so we really can't thank him enough. If anyone would like to check out his channel, he's got some really good compilation videos, so please go check out Dancing Tuna for his work. Also, we've been getting a lot of positive feedbacks on our e-lessons, and we've decided to do a free one if anybody's interested. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and just shoot us your email, and we'll make a quick Zoom class for 12 students. So first 12 people to sign up will get a free class from us if you guys are interested. And yeah, thank you so much for everything, and have a great rest of your day.